I could feel things under my hands and feel things in my heart that people weren't willing to talk about, didn't realize it was connected to the pain that they were experiencing.
Carolyn Ulitsky is an international best-selling author, somatic healer, and creator of the Somawise method, a holistic approach to releasing pain, stress, and trauma by reconnecting with the body's innate wisdom. And what a place to be when you're the giver. You were working 12 hours a day, giving, and all of a sudden now you're in the other seat, being a receiver.
I developed a tumor over my right ovary, so my body made sure I paid attention this time. I had to slow down, so it's back to that Somawise, slowing down and receive caring.
We're human beings, not human doings, and that was a huge awakening for me. Slow down.
The body can heal anything if you give it what it needs, which is space. And so it's just a reminder, you can't help anybody else unless you take care of you.
Hello and welcome to Radical TV. I am Shawna. Joining me here today is Carolyn Ulitsky. She is an international best-selling author, somatic healer, and founder of Somawise muscle therapy and body-mind coaching. She has decades of experience and certifications in advanced massage therapy, somatic movement, trauma-informed care, and energy work. She helps individuals release chronic pain, stress, and tension while reconnecting with their body's innate wisdom. Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm better now that you're here.
Well, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, good. Carolyn, I love hearing what you do and reading your bio. It's so fascinating and sounds like so important work. Just tell us a little background on what you do.
So what I do, originally is starting to evolve. It's been evolving for quite a while, but I do have a brick and mortar practice. I started out, learning to do massage and all those other things, but I could feel things under my hands and feel things in my heart that people weren't willing to talk about, didn't realize it was connected to the pain that they were experiencing. And so I went in for more to understand more. And so that I could actually help clients understand that, there's pain, but there's something behind that pain. Typically there's an emotion, a memory. You don't have to relive it, but it's time to just let it go. And so I have been privileged and honored to, work with lots of individuals. My practice has been thriving for quite some time, and now taking it a little bit further out by, doing it online, doing them on the phone, which I've done a few times when I've traveled. I've had clients going, not knowing that I've been gone. And I try not to do too much of that, because if they know I'm gone, my schedule gets booked prior to, and it's booked afterwards, which is great. I'm very blessed that way, but it's like, I could be very exhausted before I take off. So it's a matter of just, I had one client call me, text me, and I'm like, I think I can, let's book 20 minutes. When I did get on the phone with, she goes, where are you? And I'm like, I'm in Italy. She goes, no, we don't need to do this. I'm like, apparently it's urgent enough, because you don't typically call or text me if something's up, right? So something's up. So I created a little space for her. We were able to release where she was holding tension, and she could actually drop back into her body. So in 20 minutes via phone, all the way across the other side of the world, I was definitely able to do that. And that just inspired me so much that I could actually do this that way.
You said something so interesting to me that isn't talked about enough, but it's the things that aren't talked about, where the pain is held in the body. And, you go and have a normal conversation with somebody, but we're not talking about the real things. And that's frustrating right to me, because I want to go deep all the time. And I know they're not appropriate, but like, come on,
Exactly. And it isn't, but in my space, whether I'm on the phone, Zooming, whatever the case may be, I do create. It took my partner to go, you create a space where people can just sit down, have that conversation. And then typically there is some hands-on body work or not. It depends on what's happening in their day when they come in, and they're able to feel and reconnect. Right? There are ways that people don't even realize we need to reconnect and actually let go of that stress. They can access that part of themselves. It's like, oh, we're going to be fine.
Yeah. You've developed the Somawise method. Did I get that correct?
You did. You totally did.
Awesome. Tell us what it is and walk us through the steps.
Absolutely. So Somawise muscle therapy, Somawise means, Soma means inner body, and wise, wisdom. So we're tapping into the inner body wisdom. right? Because if I can help you access that, that's all I'm doing is guiding you back to your body, relaxing so it can actually access its healing ability. The body can heal anything if you give it what it needs, which is space. So we can also break it down to Somawise. So S means, and I'm going to read it out loud. S means slowing down. In plain language, we begin to create a space to pause. No pressure, no rushing, just a breath, just being, right? And that's what you do when you walk into my office or we're on the phone. We just take a moment to be in that space, right? And then we observe without judgment. You learn how to notice what's happening, the sensations, the thoughts, the patterns without needing for you to fix it or change it. Just notice, right? And then we've got M, meeting the message. Pain is usually trying to tell you something. We get curious, not afraid. What might my body be trying to tell me? As we slow down and listen to people, will it talk to me? The answer is yes, it will. A random thought will pop in and you're like, oh, that's what that is. Okay, great. And A is allowing what's real. Just like you said, we can have that real conversation, even with our own body and someone guiding us through that piece, that we can get really real with what I'm holding, right? Instead of pushing thoughts or pretending it's fine, we allow for the full experience gently, safely in your own time, right? What's happening. And then actually just giving it a voice, naming it. So that's A. W, witness with compassion, right? You don't have to do this alone. We're here together. We'll all hold the space while I listen to you. You listen to yourself. And sometimes for the first time, you're actually listened to, right? Because we're always buzzing through life. And I get that with most of my clients. It's more of like, oh, I actually get to slow down here. The answer is yes. We can rush through it, but it won't serve you. And then I'm not serving you either in that way. So we slow it down. It's uncomfortable for many to slow down and take that breath and really listen. And then I is integrate inner knowing. You'll begin to trust your own signals again, your gut, your heart, your body. They already know what's next, right? We have learned not to trust it. We've given our power away. But, I love Western medicine. I love all alternative. They work with us, right? And you'll know if that feels right to you. And then S, we shift the pattern. We gently interrupt the old loops, the stress, the fear, the old ideas that are popping in our head and invite some new rhythm into the life, whether it's pausing, breathing, and then going on. Some level of movement helps things move. And then I think the last one here is embody the new way. We'll take a little time, simple line steps that feel true to you, one step at a time, not 20 steps forward, but just what you can see in the moment. I think my best example of client actually mentioned this the other day was that when he goes climbing or hiking in the middle of early morning where it's dark, having his little headlamp, he goes, I can be still with the moment and just take one step at a time. I can't look forward because I have to actually watch where I'm going because it's dark. So when you're present in that moment, you can take your breath, make that first step and realize, okay, we're on the right track.
That's beautiful. What makes your approach different from anything else out there?
Interesting you asked me that question. I think what's different is that I combined all the pieces and we slow it down, right? Most people, when they come in for a regular massage, right, just slather on the lotion and you do get relaxed. There's a time and place for that. But there's also this time and place to dive a little deeper so that the knots that you're experiencing, the tightness actually releases completely. Right? I usually get that little drunk feeling when you're in my office. I've had one come off the table going, okay, I feel like I'm drunk. It's because you dropped out so much that that's how much you're holding and how tired you really are. So for me, I think what's really different to answer your question is I teach you to know what's going on in your body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're not just coming in there, giving a massage and sending you on the way. Like you're getting in there, giving a massage and you're working through things too. Like,
yeah,
oh,
absolutely.
I love this.
And it's not a quiet, and that's why I don't say it's massage, it's more muscle therapy and body mind coaching. Cause I can hear, sense, notice what's going on in your body. And it is through my level of questioning, whether you're at the chair and we're having a conversation or like this, I can feel what's happening and we can go through that piece and you can actually drop in.
Wow.
The added benefit of hands-on is wonderful. And sometimes it's needed. Sometimes it's not always possible and it's doable, which is what I get to do now on my next trip. So yes.
Oh, So, so cool. Um, Tell us what do you think is the biggest lie that your target audience has been told that you are finding out is completely false, Carolyn?
Oh, that's big. There's a few of them. I think one of the biggest lies is we can run it with our mind, run the pain, run everything. And that's when people get really annoyed with their body, right? I've already done the work. And it's like, okay, but how long did you wait to come in before, you want to address it? We keep pushing it away. And I think that is the biggest thing. We push it away and we just move forward when we really just need to slow down. Maybe in a moment you can't, but to return to it so that you can actually give it its due. Dr. Peter Levine is the one that developed the somatic releasing, where the body resets itself if you give it some space, right? And the nervous system resets and you're out of fight, flight, or freeze. And so that's what we're trying to do. Most people just want to keep fighting.
Yeah.
Fight. And the body's like, okay, we're tired of fighting.
Yeah. What's the real cost when people believe this lie?
Real cost is less mobility, less ability to do all the things you love to do, right? I'm thinking about a couple of clients like, I can't play with my kids like I like to or want to because, this pain is, the word's still here. Have you given enough attention so that it can actually unwind itself? And this one in particular, we were unwinding. He had no idea. He thought the pain was in one spot. I'm like, yes, where you think the pain is not where it started. Right. And so I invited him to think about, just be open to what drops in. When it drops in, it's going to tell you exactly where this came from. And so it was 13 years ago. He actually hurt his bicep and tricep. And he goes, I can vividly remember now where that came from. So, I just helped his body unwind it just from his thoughts and patterns, but move the body and muscles in a way so that it would release.
Wow. Take me to your lowest point. What was happening in your own life when you realized that there was a better way?
So, in our earlier conversation, about 2015, 16, my my second marriage was starting to fall apart. It was already falling apart. And much like everyone else, I was pushing, push. I was working really hard, lots of hours. And I developed a tumor over my right ovary. Gratefully, it was benign. However, in that space, I knew I needed to do my business completely different than how I was doing it. Working from 7 to 7, hands-on, still doing the body mind coaching. I didn't know that back then. I needed to do it smarter and better for me, but also for my clients because I couldn't sustain that. And so I stumbled along, or she found me, a woman who does what she does. She certifies you in body mind coaching, but she also was a massage therapist. Loved her story. We connected. And when she and I did our conversation together, it was like, I need to join. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to join. And when I did and just invest in myself, understanding these pieces, and then flying out to Ohio and learning about it, and then just continuing with her, I found another way. I didn't do it 100%, right, the new way, but I just started to introduce it based on what was comfortable for me. And that allowed me to be where I'm at today.
And that lowest point, what did it feel like in your body? What were you feeling and what were you telling yourself?
I can get through this. I can fix this. Really, it was the word, I can fix this. And no, and again, before I knew it was even a tumor over my over, I thought it was a fibroid. Oh, we'll be fine. Right. I kept excusing it. But I also learned detoxification during that time. So I was doing all that too, thinking that was all I needed. But I did need Western medicine intervention. Gratefully, again, it was benign. And yet I had to heal for 3 months. It took 3 months to heal and I had to slow down. So it's back to that Somawise, slowing down and and receive caring from my parents. They came and lived with me for 3 months because I couldn't drive. I couldn't do any of those things because I have a huge scar. So they could remove it. So that was what my body was doing. I wasn't paying attention. And so my body made sure I paid attention this time.
And what a place to be when you're the giver. You were working 12 hours a day, giving. And all of a sudden now you're in the other seat being a receiver.
That's right. And I think most of us that are givers and caregivers, we tend to forget ourselves, right? So I can recognize it typically when I have clients who are caring for a spouse or a parent, my focus is not actually the person they're caring for, but on them. because they do forget themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Having done that myself. And so it's just a reminder, you can't help anybody else unless you take care of you, right? And
And take
that,
me to that point when you decided enough was enough.
well, so funny enough, that surgery wasn't enough.
Mm.
No, twice I ended up with full body shingles. Nobody's done full body shingles. That was my body's stress response to, I'm going to keep doing it that way. I slowed down enough for that surgery to heal, but then I just jumped gently back into doing hard. And at which point, again, my body goes, you didn't hear me the first time. So I slowed down enough to have the shingles go away. But the second time, I was on the floor in so much pain. And it took my youngest to tell me, Mom, enough. She didn't tell me what to do. She'd come home from her class or whatever it was and says, enough. We see you. We know you've done everything you can. You know what to do. At which point, once I took those steps, the shingles disappeared. The stress disappeared. I just had to face what was really in front of me, the ending of my relationship and moving through all that.
I have like goosebumps all over my arms after you said that. Oh, wow.
It was rough. And it's funny because as soon as I took those little steps, the shingles went away,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it was just a response to me not paying attention to how stressful it was. And then I didn't fail. It's just we had already come to the end of that cycle and we were not going any further. And my body knew long before my head we were done. Yeah,
Our bodies are so intelligent and
they
we
are.
don't give them enough credit.
We
Yeah.
don't. Like I said, we just think through our mind we can think our way through this when you really have to feel your way through this.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to feel those emotions and feel them before you can move on. Otherwise, they kind of get stored in the system, don't they?
They'll find a pocket for it. They'll find a nice little pocket until you really, really sit down and be with it. And it really doesn't take that long. I can only
No.
imagine if I had just taken a little bit of time to feel some of those things sooner, right? Would I have developed such a large tumor over my ovary?
Give us an example of a client that you've had. Obviously, no names, but some example of how you've worked with them and the transformation that they went through.
I'm going to give you the one that stands out because I can do both male and female. I'll do the female first.
Cool.
Incredible. She's an incredible human being. I love her to pieces. We've become friends since then. And she continues to come in to see me. She came in for jaw, neck, and shoulder pain, right? And she had no idea what it was. And she'd come in weekly. We did it for a couple of times. And I said, all right, you need to pause for a moment. And when when are you experiencing this pain in your jaw specifically? She goes, hey, when I wake up in the morning. So, okay, great. As soon as you wake up, notice what your first thoughts are in the morning. And I said, it could be work. It could be whatever. She goes, no, I'm fine. I said, just humor me and do that. Because what I've learned in my practice, my hands-on practice, I can work your neck and shoulders till I'm blue. But usually the jaw is associated with that lock in. Your body locks it in. I need to unlock the jaw. And I'm known for putting gloves on and going into your mouth and releasing those muscles. And so when I do, the neck and shoulder are far less likely to be so tight. It will unwind. So when she came in for her next appointment, she goes, I said, so what did you find out? She goes, wouldn't you know it? I think of my boss, and it was the boss she didn't like working for. She goes, she is the first thing in my mind. And that's when I just want to clench my jaw so hard. That's when I end up with my neck and shoulders tight. So with that level, that has not returned. But she also knows when she's tight like that, she goes, okay, what am I thinking about right now? So it's a matter of what you're thinking. Your body's telling you, you need to either say something or do something different. And for her, it was an opportunity for her to shift work. She wanted to just stay with this person till she retired. Well, her body had a whole different idea. We're not staying here and enduring this level of stress and uncomfortableness because she didn't feel appreciated by this person. And so she did. She changed jobs and she is living her best life right now in the best job ever. And she goes, I get to ride this one out with a lot of fun. So it was huge for her to have that level of transformation.
Wow. And you said you have a male as well?
I do. My most recent was the one I just explained.
Mm.
A pilot, he was in the military, did not realize that injury he had had working out limited his ability to use his right hand and lower it. And so when we got to that place of him understanding, he'd already done 2 visits with me. We needed to go deeper. And when he came in that last time, he was annoyed. And I could tell he was annoyed. And so I actually said, "You seem annoyed." Okay. And he looks at me, "I am." I said, "Are you annoyed at the process? Are you annoyed at yourself?" He goes, "I'm annoyed at my body." Well,
Mm.
that level of recognition, right? I'm annoyed at my body. So I said, "Tell me more about what's annoying you." All right. A lack of ability to move. I love to move. I want to play with my kids. Of course, then he proceeded to tell me he's got 5, from certain ages. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you need to unwind this piece. But he really couldn't let go of that pain. And so while we worked those pieces, he was just, "But the pain's here." And I said, "Okay, I got it. We're touching it. We're feeling it right here on the top of your shoulder. Work with me a little bit and let's just unwind where that's going." And as I held where he was not feeling the pain, but I could feel where the endpoints were, where it was tracing back to, and just held it, he had an opportunity just to sit with it. And that's when he dropped in and found out that, oh, that was the injury from 13 years ago. I thought I fixed that. Right. So
Mm.
again, once again, we just worked those pieces. He could feel his aggravation at himself. And then I continued to move the fascia and the muscle, and it allowed it to release. There was definitely scar tissue sitting there. So as I moved through the scar tissue, it could lay flat. And then when we turned back over, he goes, "I haven't been able to lay my arm flat for a long time." And he goes, I said, "So you got a couple exercises to do. Let's reconnect to make sure it's holding. We may need to do this a couple more times because 13 years is a long time to have this level of scar tissue, and you'll need to work it." But for him, I just heard from him, he's able to get down on the floor and play with his kids. So for him, it was like huge relief.
Hmm. Yeah. And with your method, can you tell us what are some common mistakes people would make when they start implementing the process?
So there's another piece to Somawise. The other framework is MIA, MIAA, mindful, intuitive, aligned action. I think the most common mistake is that slowdown, because most people don't want to slow down. In the Somawise, the bigger aspect of that is the slowing down. People, I don't have time to slow down. You don't have 30 seconds to just take a breath in and a breath out. That is the first thing you do. You don't need to, no 5 minutes, no 10 minutes. That 30 seconds will reset you. Right. So that's the most common mistake. I don't have time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And yet your body wants you to give it time.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot less to do the little time than the longer time. Right. To really regain it.
Yeah, no kidding. It's one of my biggest pet peeves is watching how people just rush through their lives.
Yes.
And it's like, if you just sit back, like, really, do you really need to be doing that? We're human beings, not human doings. And that was a huge awakening for me is slow down.
It's slowing. It's rough. I mean, here's my other example. What does Bill call me? The baby whisperer. So I have other women who've had struggled to get pregnant, but it's not even the drugs that they're taking, the IVF and all those other things. It's in order to conceive and hold a baby, you actually have to be not stressed.
Mm.
Right. So it's a matter, but I'm doing all the things, acupuncture, all this. I'm like, yet you need to take time,
Mm-hmm.
do all those things, but we need to come in here so that you can take that breath and set intention, talk to your body parts and let it know, hey, we definitely want to conceive here. This is the place, right, that it can receive and hold with absolute love and grace till its
Mm-hmm.
completion, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's a matter of intention, right? And it's allowing them to remember you're a partner in this. It's not the outside trying to, influence. It's you on the inside, influencing that calm and relaxation.
Wow. So you've actually helped people get pregnant that weren't able to conceive. Wow.
Yes. Yes. Quietly on the down low. Because again, they're doing all other things, but they've
Mm-hmm.
tried all the other things. And when they add
Mm-hmm.
this little, I'm just one piece of that puzzle. When
Mm-hmm.
we add that piece of reconnecting to their body and down regulating the high stress and I got to get pregnant and my time clock is going, whatever the case may be, and just allow, Once you leave my office, that's when you need to go and conceive right now, because you're so relaxed. The body can receive. It's really about receiving. Everyone's about going and giving when there's a moment and we don't do it well to receive. Right. And this is why I'll be going to Italy, teaching individuals to come back into their body, slow it down, and appreciate where we're going.
Yeah. What is your ideal client to work with? Who do you love to work with specifically?
Those that are on the cusp, they're very curious. I've tried all these things and yours looks intriguing. And I think this is the piece I'm missing. And so they're just, they're not quite there yet, but they're so wide open and interested that they're willing to come in, do the work, try not to do it too hard or fast, just the little bits and pieces. And they're willing to lean in too, right? They've already done some of that work, either with a regular therapist or whatever or reading a bunch of books, but they need a little guidance. And they're not 100% in yet. And it usually takes 2 or 3 before they're like, okay, I'm sold. Let's get in and do this piece.
And how long does the process typically take? Is it vary for each person or?
It varies for each person. It really does take dedication on your part to come in, at least 3 visits back to back, and then we can spread them out anywhere from 6 to 9 months to really allow that process to stick, right? You made the little breakthroughs, and that level of transformation takes a little time to do, but it's not impossible.
And when did you realize that your own personal transformation needed to become your mission to help other people?
It was really when I had that tumor, and then the shingles after that, it's like, oh, this is huge. Mm-hmm. I'm not the only one, because I already see people that like that, but I didn't relate it so completely. It's just, recently that all of that was like, oh. And then when I had to write, I was invited to write into the articles that I was writing for back in 2020. It allowed me to really put down on paper, oh, this is what I'm doing, because I've already lived it. Mm-hmm. So I can do it with confidence and hold space for someone to meet themselves in that space.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything that breaks your heart about your industry right now?
Because I'm not 100% massage therapy. I'm not a complete coach. So I'm somewhere in between, right? Those two pieces, but it's the massage therapy that breaks my heart. And it's like this in every industry. It's not that happy ending that most people think, and it's not a simple massage and I'm healed, mm-hmm. right? There's a process to this. It's still a journey, and people need to understand that. And I think what breaks my heart is there are not enough of us telling that story. Mm-hmm. And saying this is a relationship with your body, right? One that fosters love and care, right? Whatever anybody else on the scale of different pieces, there's a scale. I'm not a masseuse, by the way, right? People, oh, you're a masseuse. That gets under my skin, because it's more of like, no, I'm not just a masseuse.
Mm-hmm. What would the world look like if everybody knew what you know?
What would it look like? Probably more kind. Mm-hmm. I think kinder, slower, present. Mm-hmm. I think really being present. It takes work to be present, because most of us don't know how to do that.
Mm-hmm. What is possible for someone who comes through your unique approach?
I'm thinking of several clients, what's possible. I think it's just a better understanding of themselves, a level of integrity and authenticity that they weren't allowed to have. And then to really speak up and to be seen, right? And allow themselves to receive. That's really the receiving's that piece, but to really be seen authentically and show up authentically, because we do put a mask on. Most of us do. That has been something that I've been working to, I don't need to be that person, like to please anybody but my own self.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so important. What can people expect when they work with you directly?
Absolute presence. There's a calm that I do bring. This is hard for me to even speak about, because people have told me this, but I have not digested it 100%. But it's more of a level of peace and presence that they're not used to having, that when they walk away, even if the interaction is only 30 minutes and it's the only one time, that they felt heard, right? And if that's all I ever need to do for them, that's great. But it is that level of being heard and that slowing down. And some people, it's like too disconcerting to slow down and be heard. So it's more of like, okay, it's really okay. You got a taste of it. That's all that matters. I planted a few seeds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good for you. I mean, it's so sad that, we go through life, some of us, never really being heard or seen.
Exactly. But I get a lot of people in that mid-range, that midlife range, because now they're exploring that. I think COVID was huge because people were isolated. And so there were a lot of people. I was very busy during COVID. So I was seeing a lot of people because they've never been in a confined space with their spouse or their partner. And it's like, oh my God, what is this? Right. And their bodies were tight because they were sitting too long, right? All the things. And so it's more of that level of unwinding, right? And being
Yeah.
seen and heard.
They had to face themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot for some. It was a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. Yeah. How can people connect with you and learn more?
Well, you can find me on my website, Instagram, Somawise MT, same with Facebook, or Carolyn Ulitsky, my personal Facebook page, where a lot of people find me too.
Oh, wonderful. Um,
Hey,
yeah, I have a couple more questions.
sure.
Two more to be exact. What's changed in your business or life since you started working with the radical company that you did not expect?
It's huge. I'm going to cry because it's allowed me to become more visible and vulnerable, owning that I didn't know I was going to be doing. And that means understanding that social media is a place to be seen, felt, and heard, right? It's not, yes, I'm assuming you'll drive more clients in that way, but it is just a way to be seen, felt, and heard and find the words that I did not know that were in me, right? I've already done articles and a book prior to coming into Radical Magic, but really diving deep and unearthing parts of me that I didn't realize was available.
And if you were talking to someone that's on the fence or considering the Radiverse, what would you tell them about your experience?
You know what? It's undescribable. I mean, I did bring a few people in. It's just come in, see what it can do for you, right? Even just that the 3-day radical online, right? Just do that piece. You're going to get something completely different, right? If it's not now to be later, but do this piece because it's typically free, right? Or, a little bit of investment, a little skin in the game. Do that and just see how different this is, how they approach your business, the marketing, all of it, because it allows you to find out who you are, right? And really fine tune it. Because most of us, even when I started back, um, who's the one client? And I'm like, I serve more than one client, all kinds. But now I truly understand it now. Find that one. It will branch out, but the one will help you get really clear and it brings clarity. It really does bring clarity. The radical team itself allows you to find that courage in you because it's there so that you can step forward. It is a journey with them. It is not a one and done, right? I did the Radical Freedom book first, and that was in 2024. I was not ready to enter the Radical Magic team for another year, right? And I had so many excuses in my own head, but I truly wasn't ready because there was just so much going on. But when I was ready, it was a loud, yes, we're in, right? The funds are ready. We're ready to rock and roll. And here I am.
Hmm. What a great story. Carolyn Ulitsky, thank you for joining us on Radical TV today. So much fun to chat with you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.